Hey, Gina from the Bronx.
You know,
Oh my gosh, I'm sure you hear that all the time. Are you tired of it?
hell no.
Yeah,
I
watch
am
out,
Gina from the
J-Lo.
What's up, G-Lo?
I love that. We're gonna coin that. Oh my gosh.
Yes, the
Uh,
G-Lo.
and you're wearing your hat, the greatest of all time.
This is my favorite hat to wear. It triggers so many insecure people. It makes me laugh when it triggers them because I literally saw the hat and was like, yo, that's a cute hat, and bought it with no egoic intention connected to it. But every time someone sees this hat, like it only upsets the mediocre. That's what I've noticed. They're always the people that like don't think you have the right to kind of like yourself, or you don't have the right to. It's always those people that are like, oh, really? The GOAT? You'd be surprised, man. It's been some surprisingly well known people that have been like, GOAT? Aren't you like kind of famous? Why do you care about what hat I'm wearing? Like, this is why I say it only triggers the mediocre. It only triggers those people that don't have belief in self. There you go. A little bit of therapy for you.
I usually end this interview with like a sort of therapy question, but there you go. I got it.
It's going to be all therapy.
Free therapy for half an hour. I'll
That's
take it.
right. Free therapy, 100% free, anytime.
I don't have a hat face. I do have some caps, but I only wear it when it's like really hot, during the summer. But we stated earlier, you're from the Bronx, New York. I went to New York for the first time many moons ago with my mom.
Okay.
And it's so funny because you made a joke saying like New Yorkers don't like lost people. And we were one of those like strays in the subway.
It's like we're the reluctant heroes all the time. Every time we see a lost person, we're like, for the love of God, where are you trying to go? Like, we're just like, where do you need to be? Because you look lost, and I can't have you looking lost in this city. You gotta know where you're going. So we're always helping the lost people. We do kind of like, Lord Jesus, we gotta help y'all, poor babies.
I was just thinking about Home Alone 2. Did anyone ever help Kevin? Because I think he was on his own with the map, the old school. Like, I would be so stressed out looking at it.
Kevin figured it out. He gonna be all right.
I need a Kevin when I go
Yeah.
to New York.
You need a Kevin in your life to be like, look, I've been here. I've been here before.
Okay, so my mom wants to go back to New York. When we return, where should we go?
Ooh, that's a great question. Okay, so you're asking a New Yorker where you should go in New York. Man, what do y'all like to do? Do you guys like do you like shows? Do you like good bar restaurant? Like what are you looking for?
Okay, so yeah, we typically go to a lot of shows. So, like, comedy clubs,
Right. Oh,
concerts,
comedy clubs.
good
I got
restaurants.
you.
Yeah.
I got you with some comedy clubs and with some good restaurants. Okay, we'll start with comedy clubs. My home clubs, the places that I perform at in New York that I absolutely love, Gotham Comedy Club. I got married there. I've known those guys forever. Gotham Comedy Club, the Comedy Cellar, of course. You got to hit up the Comedy Cellar. It's unbelievable. It's an experience to go to the Comedy Cellar. Like every comedy club has their own vibe. Like I really feel like Gotham's very grown and sexy. Like you go to Gotham, it's like a night out. Like you go there, all the security guards are in suits. Like it is grown and sexy over at Gotham. And then the cellar is you're getting all of the best of New York comedy, and they have three different clubs that you can go to. You can go to the Comedy Cellar, the Fat Black, or you can go to the Village Underground, and you're getting the best of the best. These are the shows when you say people stop by and surprise you. These are the shows where Bill Burr will show up, where Dave Chappelle will show up. I was on a show one time, Ray Romano showed up on that show. You don't know who might come by to surprise you. And either way, even if there are no drop-ins, you will have such an incredible, you're going to see people that you're going to be like, yo, I've wanted to see this person live for the longest time. And then New York Comedy Club, I'm going to call that the sleeper cell because this club has been around for so long. And now they have three clubs in the city too. They have a club on the Lower East Side. They have a club on the Upper West Side. And then they have a club in Gramercy. So they have a club in different, but it's all New York Comedy Club. You are going to get the raw and the real from New York Comedy Club. This is where people go out and they're like, you know what, I'm working on a new hour. Let me put my material out at this place. You're going to get the rawest and the realest stuff at New York Comedy Club. So every club has its vibe for you to go to. So it depends like what you want to see, how you want to vibe. And food wise, child, I don't know what everybody's flavor is, but there's a couple of really great vegan restaurants I can suggest.
Oh, yeah, 'cause you are you vegan? I know
Not
you
vegan, but I have food allergies. There's stuff that I have to go vegan for certain things because I can't. Otherwise, I'm gonna be blowing up bathrooms all over New York City, and don't nobody want that, son. So, Urban Vegan Kitchen is a great one. They have locations in Queens and over by Gotham Comedy Club is one of the locations I love. It's Urban Vegan Kitchen. They have some amazing dishes there. Then there's Planta, which is another one. You can find Planta locations. I think there's like a few of them in the city. You just need to look it up.
What about
Um,
Puerto Rican restaurants?
Puerto Rican restaurants. There's a place by Gotham Comedy Club called Counter and Bodega. Go there. Just go there. 'Cause they have not only Puerto Rican food, they will have Spaniard dishes, they will have Mexican dishes. They have a whole list of different foods from different places. So you're gonna get a little bit of everything at Counter and Bodega. It's literally one of my favorite. If you want a good churrasco, go over to Counter and Bodega because they're gonna get you a good churrasco, and it's right there, right by Gotham Comedy Club. Most of the restaurants I'm gonna suggest are literally right by comedy clubs because that's where I be at. I be out there in these streets. The rapper Nas owns a chain of restaurants called Sweet Chick, and it's like chicken and waffles type restaurant. So they have locations in Brooklyn, the Lower East Side, also in Queens. So you can find a Sweet Chick anywhere. And if you like some good fried chicken and good waffles, you'll definitely be happy. I could give you a whole food tour, but we'll stop the list there.
That sounds incredible. I already sound full.
You'll get full real quick. You'll get full
Oh
real
my
quick
gosh.
in New York.
That'll be fantastic. Have some tostones, arroz con gandules,
Yes,
right before a
yes.
comedy show.
If you go out to bars or anything, there's a bunch of speakeasies in New York that are like prohibition style, like speakeasies. My favorite one is Please Don't Tell. And you can go online and you can make a reservation. And trust me, it's a night. It's one of the best places. I always tell people to go there. Go there and get a mocktail. It's worth the experience. Because
The
I'm not a
mocktail
drinker.
as a like the same price as cocktail.
Unfortunately, yes. Sadly, yes.
Oh my gosh. I always wanted to go to Coyote Ugly ever since I watched the movie as a kid.
Right.
And I'm gonna be going to the Coyote Ugly in Vegas tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Okay.
I know. I was like, finally, I'm a coyote.
Finally, you're finally getting your dream.
Segueing, we're talking about like Puerto Rican food. You're a proud Puerto Rican, and even
Gang, gang.
more. Speaking of goat, Bad Bunny, he's going to be performing Super Bowl headline.
I could not be happier. Watching Bad Bunny become such a mega star just throughout his journey, like from the beginnings when people and the people that were like tried and true fans that have been following him through this journey, there's a reason why it brings them to tears to see him winning so much. And it's such a statement. It's such a statement with what we're going through now in this climate to have him there. And I think he's really gonna not only is he gonna blow our minds, but I feel like he's really gonna get the messaging right. And, he just, as an artist, is such a wonderfully deep soul with a lot of empathy, but also he brings the realness. Like he's gonna put it in your face, and he's obviously he's very pro the island, he's very pro his people, and I love that. Somebody has to be. You know what I mean? Like somebody has to be this generation's like social justice warrior who's going to stand up there and be like, you know what, I'm going to use my platform to say the stuff that the people are saying. I have the big enough platform to say it. So I could not be happier. When they made that announcement, I damn near dropped my phone. I damn near dropped my lifeline, aka my phone, on the floor. Even my son, my 5-year-old, will say, wants to listen to Bad Bunny. Like he'll ask me to play some Bad Bunny, and I'll be like, okay, we can rock out some Bad Bunny. People just love him, and I think all the upset about it, people just don't understand. They don't understand how impactful this whole thing is for us and who it will help and who it will, like the kids, just seeing something like that. Man, I could go on for days about how proud I am. I can't wait to see it. It's the only reason I will watch the Super Bowl. I do not sports ball. I am not a sports person, but I will be watching. I'll definitely be watching.
Oh, so you would interrupt Mariah Carey for Bad Bunny?
I didn't say all that. I'll have Mariah play in the back. Mariah would understand. She would understand. She would be like, I get it. It's Bad Bunny. I'm waiting for the Mariah Bad Bunny collab. Where's that collab? Bad Bunny, call up Mariah. Do a remix. Come on, do a remix. You got this, Bad Bunny. You got this. Put Bad Bunny on anything. and he will crush it. Mariah, I'm putting this out to the universe. Work with Bad Bunny, Mariah, because I love you both so much. I am a diehard Mariah fan.
Did you watch her, VMA performance? She was wearing, like, $10 million worth of diamonds.
Child, if she's gonna do anything, like this is what I love about celebrities or legendary people like Mariah. She's gonna do all of the ridiculous celebrity stuff and not care what y'all think. Like she's just not gonna care. So yeah, I'm gonna wear this because you know what? She ain't dancing. She's not gonna dance. She told us a long time ago, look, I'm not gonna dance. So what you want from me? She's gonna come out looking like the Barbie doll that everybody says she looks like. And I'm like, go ahead, queen, go ahead.
And
Just
she
have
has
fun.
her own Barbie.
She does.
Mhm.
The Mariah, yes. She's so worth it. She's amazing. She's one of those people that, you know how they say, like, never meet, your favorite people, your heroes. Like, I would honestly, as much as I love her, I would not want to ruin the image that I have because I don't know her personally. And she's a person, she's human. We got to stop dehumanizing a lot of these celebrities. She's going to have bad days. She's going to be stank. There's going to be business deals that go sour. But I would run away. I think I would actually pass out if I met, like, if she said hi to me, my body would freeze and I would fall to the floor. I would have to be revived. If she just said hi, I would be like, "Oh, I'm done for life. I'm done. I'm going to never meet anybody again. I have a child to raise. I can't meet Mariah. I'll pass out."
I think you
Yep.
get starstruck because you mentioned about meeting other comedians that you
Yep.
were influenced by or
I don't get starstruck by a lot of celebrities. Here's the thing. I've met a lot of celebrities and they're people. Some are great, some are not so great, whatever. They're human beings. And that's how I kind of take it. I don't expect somebody to be perfect all the time, but if you're awful all the time, that does say something. You know what I mean? Comedians, when I look up to a comedian, like I get starstruck with comedians because comedy means so much to me. I met George Lopez when I did AGT. I avoided meeting George Lopez for the majority of my career because there were opportunities, but I was so afraid I was going to embarrass myself because I also met Susie Izzard when they were going by Eddie Izzard. Met them at Montreal and completely embarrassed myself. I legitimately hope that they do not remember this encounter, that I am a foreign face to them because I forgot my name. Somebody bought me to meet this icon so eloquently. They extended their hand and just said, "Hi, what's your name?" And I said, "I'm such a big fan. I've seen all of your specials." And they were like, "Okay, what's your name?" And I was like, "I was at the gala tonight and you were so funny." And they're like, "Okay, what's your name?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like I completely blanked on what my name was. And it was the most mortifying experience. And I thought the same was going to happen with George. I was shooketh when I met George. He came to set an AGT. This was my first time meeting with him, and I had rolos in my hair like somebody's tia. I had a full face of makeup, rolos in my hair, a powder blue suit. I looked like I was going to preach at a Pentecostal church in a little bit because I had a powder blue suit, the rolos, the makeup was done. I was about to be on TBN. I was giving tia very much. And here I am going to meet George in my little chanclas. I had my little slippers on. And I'm a very statuesque 5'2", and George is obviously much taller than me. And so he put his arm around me. He was the sweetest human being. I could not have had a better first interaction with somebody. He put his arm around me and he said, "I heard that I was one of the reasons why you started comedy or the reason why you started comedy." And I said, "Yeah." I was like, "Uh-huh." And he put his arm around me and gave me this big hug. And he said, "We're going to do great," because we were doing something for AGT. And he was just so reassuring and he was so funny and sweet. And then we did our thing on AGT and he actually brought me on tour with him for like two of his tour dates. And I really got to have a nice heart to heart with him. And what an incredible career and what an incredible life he has had.
Mhm.
And I can't say enough good things about him. He's just wonderful. He's just absolutely wonderful. And I'm so glad that that was my encounter with one of my heroes. And he's still to this
Now
day is one of my heroes.
you could call him a mentor and a friend.
Yeah. And it's the same
Incredible.
thing with Gabriel, like having worked with Gabriel, Mr. Fluffy, like Gabe, when you talk about mentors, I mean, Gabe took me under his wing and I learned so much from him. Gabe is one of those people that I don't think people understand the extent of how kind He is genuinely kind. The kind of kind that blows your mind, where you're like, "Oh my I can't believe people can even be that generous." But he really is. He was so great with me, and I learned so much from him. I'm just forever grateful to have had with 2 legendary people the most amazing experience, because not everybody can say that. And so I've really lucked out and had just incredible experiences with some of the most legendary individuals. And that's I think how I hope everybody's experience goes, but that ain't always the way it works out.
I know because you mentioned touring with George Lopez, you toured with Fluffy. I'm sure they gave you individual advice. Were they pretty much similar or a little different?
That's a great question. I think the lessons were very different. I think we're dealing with, both comedians, and they both had specials and movies and different things. They're very different in how the trajectory of their career has been. I think George, having been in sitcoms so in his career and everything moving so quickly, and at that time there were not a lot of opportunities for Latinos. There were not a lot of TV opportunities. So shout out to Sandra Bullock for making that happen. Shout out to her, because it was that kind of allyship and her belief in his talent that really propelled the show. And when she got behind it, it was like a no brainer for people. George's advice was coming from a place of having so much under his belt and being under public scrutiny so many different times. And just, I think that was more the reiteration of people who are megastars, legendary individuals are still human beings. And we have this habit of pedestalizing them and expecting perfection from them. And I think a lot of what our conversations came down to was just remember you don't have to be perfect. Remember that you don't have to strive for perfection all the time. Just create, just love what you do, stick to it, and you'll be fine. The more you try to fit what everybody else wants, the more that's going to have a negative effect on you. But the more you do your own thing and have faith in yourself and believe in yourself and realize that you don't have to look perfect, sound perfect, be perfect all the time, the less pressure you put on yourself and the more real of a person you are. Like none of us are perfect. None of us have a spotless record. None of us do. And I think that was a lot of our conversations were kind of about the pressures of existing within entertainment in that way. Like he's reached a certain level where, you know, to a certain extent, people do expect perfection from him. People do expect everything to be 100%. And that's a lot of pressure. And with Gabriel, I think what I learned, first of all, I thought I had a work ethic. Good grief. That man never stops. He never stops working. And on top of not stopping working, he has an entire team of people that he takes care of. I'm watching him wear so many hats in one day that I am going, oh, this is what it's like to really manage and like delegate when you have a team of people. Because I think it's easy to sit by the wayside and let the team do the work rather than step in and go, this is what I want. This is how I want to do it. How can we accomplish that? And really work as a team leader. I really saw a lot of that with Gabriel and really learned the road so much more with Gabriel because we went on the road for so many dates and we were in a tour bus. And, I'm watching him navigate and I'm watching his team navigate problem after problem on the road, which was great for me to learn so that when I ran into the same problems, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember how this was dealt with over there. So the lessons, each one of them, I feel like I learned so many valuable things from. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I had both experiences because there were different lessons, but beneficial in every way.
Absolutely. And he has the same work ethic as Kevin Hart. And you met him. Let's talk about your comedy journey. You're a comedy nerd at age 14. That's when you discovered it.
Yeah.
But you started doing comedy at 17. I think you said that your mom signed you up for like a comedy competition with you and your twin sister. Do you
Yep.
remember your first joke?
Child, yes. It was a joke that stayed in my act up until my first special. It was about being from the Bronx, and it was about how I used to say, if you want to boost your confidence, go to the Bronx because they'll hit on anything, even remotely female. You could put a pair of boobs on a mop, and they would be like, "Who's the girl with the dreadlocks?" And then, and it goes on where I go, "Ooh, girl, you smell like ammonia." She's like, "That's my name, Ammonia." And that was one of my first ever bits that made it into my first special, specifically speaking. I remember that so well because I remember writing it and going, "This is really funny." Like, there's sometimes you write some things as a comic and you're like, "I don't care if anybody else thinks it's funny. This is really funny." One of the first jokes that got a really big laugh was that one.
That's awesome. So I don't know if you remember, but MTV, VH1, they used to have like this reality show. When
MTV3.
they had this show where celebrities will talk about when they were 17 years old. How would you paint your life?
Wow. 17 was kind of the year so many things happened. At 16, I had lost my grandmother, so 17 was the first year without my grandma, and that was a big deal for me because she lived with us, and she was a big supporter of me. Comedy and laughter was how her and I connected. It was also the first year that I got an official older boyfriend, and of course, it didn't work out, and it should have never happened, by the way. So ridiculous that I was dating an older guy at, like, 17 years old, and I'm surprised, God bless my parents for not being like, "Girl, is you crazy?" But they let it rock, and literally it fizzled out within, like, a day or 2. I swear to you, it was the craziest. Like, I think the most it went was a week, and then I was like, "Oh, yeah, I have no business being with this person who just did not understand the fact that I didn't even have a frontal lobe yet. Like, why am I dating you? I can't make these decisions. There's a part of my brain that's not fully developed." So, it was the first time I experienced, like, dating an older person and thankfully having the realization that I had no business being in that space with that person. And it was also when I started really writing comedy. I was always kind of writing comedy, but now I was performing it for like my friends in theater and drama club. I started like performing little bits of my comedy here and there. I think everybody was still very surprised when I became a comedian because I was so shy outside of that. I was the quiet kid and I could be funny and I could throw jabs because I grew up a tomboy. I grew up like joking around with all the guys in my neighborhood and everything. Other than that, I was very quiet and to myself. I wasn't your typical class clown. I was more the class clown that picked the perfect time to say the one thing that I was going to say that everybody was going to remember for the rest of the semester because I said that one thing at the perfect time. Because I had watched so much comedy, my timing, even as a class clown, was unbelievably impeccable to the point where it impressed my teachers. When my teachers couldn't even get mad at me, they would be like, "That was funny though." They couldn't even get mad at me. They were like, "She got you. That was funny though." I've always, I felt like, been like the oddball. I stuck out like a sore thumb and I never minded. I was never upset about that. I was just always different. And I was like, that's okay. I love being different. I don't want to be like everybody else. So I think 17 was kind of the beginnings of me understanding even more about how I was always going to be the person that stood out and I was always meant to stand out. And that was okay. I was meant to stand out and I'm cool with it. Even if people were looking at me going like, why are you so weird? I don't know, but it's a blessing.
And you mentioned before while you were doing stand up, you had regular jobs, you were a barista. What are your thoughts on espresso martinis?
I'm against them. Now, I know, I feel so bad. Here's the thing, I'm not a drinker. If you like them, good for you. I take my espresso, hold a martini. I will drink a straight up espresso, but I have friends that love a good espresso martini. And if that's your vibe, go ahead. I ain't gonna hate on you. I'll just have my regular espresso while you have your espresso martini. I'm not a fan. When I was drinking or when I did drink, I was more of a fan of like either super sweet drinks, like, I did a little Jack Honey back in the day, or I would do the occasional Jack and Coke, which just tasted like a regular Diet Coke, honestly. So I wasn't really big on tequila or anything like that when I was drinking for a brief period. But I was never a big drinker. My dad owned 2 bars growing up, so, like, alcohol wasn't this taboo, forbidden thing. I was around it my whole life, so I never felt like, "Oh, I gotta go and drink." Occasionally, if I wanted to drink, I would have it, but it really wasn't my thing. So, I would say if you like it, though, sometimes kick back, a little bit of drinky drink, because I make my mocktails, you know what I mean? Make my little
We should
CBD
have
mocktails or
that at
whatever.
the Punchline,
I would
when
love
you
that.
come to San Francisco, and the reason
Yes.
why the Punchline has really good espresso martinis, so shout out the Punchline. Let's talk about your comedy dates. You're coming next
Yes.
week,
Yes, I'm so
Thursday,
excited.
October 23rd through Saturday, October 25th. Now, without any, like, spoilers, any topics you'll discuss? Are they gonna be some from your previous comedy specials or just new stories?
There'll be some from my latest special, Mind Your Business, which is out on YouTube now. Also was on the Grammy ballot. We'll find out soon if I made the official nominations, but some material from there, some new stuff. It's going to be a mix of things because right now I'm in that period of building new material for the next special, kind of giving people a taste of the special they may not have seen yet. Then you're out on the road is always going to be sort of a mix of different things because you're still figuring out, well, what direction is the next project going to take? And is it similar to the last direction or is it completely different? Can I even blend these two worlds at this point? So it'll be fun. I've had so much fun performing and being on the road. And it's been a minute since I've been in San Francisco. So I'm like so excited to go. And it's been a minute since I've been at the Punchline. I think the last time I did it was years ago for Sketchfest. I'm actually super excited to be back in this legendary space and to be working and to be in San Francisco. It was such a comedy mecca for so long. Great people. You got Margaret Cho that came out of San Francisco. You have so many great comics that have come out of San Francisco and so many great comics that love going there and performing there. So I could not be more excited for y'all to come out. It's always a vibe. People need to understand it's a vibe. It's not just a night out. I can't even explain to you. It is incredible. I've had so much fun and we are going to make some moments in San Francisco.
I was gonna say congratulations on your comedy album, Mind Your Business. Let's hope it gets nominated for a Grammy and then you celebrating your 8th anniversary with your husband as
Yes,
well.
thank you.
So
That's my baby.
we're looking forward to hearing some fresh jokes in San
Yes.
Francisco. And I work for a news station, and someone recently described San Francisco as Gotham from, Batman.
I'm not gonna lie, certain parts. That's foul, whoever said that. But certain parts, we
I was
might have
like,
got
we
them on
need a
certain
real
parts.
Batman.
We do. I have a whole joke about that. Come to hear the Batman joke that I have,
Okay.
and I have a whole Batman joke.
Oh my god, that's gonna be hilarious. Okay, so you mentioned about your time on America's Got Talent. I interviewed another comedian, Connor King. He auditioned as well. Do
Okay.
you recommend comedians kind of getting recognized, auditioning, being part of the process for, like, a competition show like that?
I'm not crazy about competitions, if I'm honest. And it took me forever to even agree to do America's Got Talent. I'm glad I did, though. Let me tell you, comedy's hard enough. I don't think we need to be put in competition with each other. I was performing with like my comedy family, like my brothers were on with me, and I wanted a win for everybody. You know what I mean? A win for Josh, would have been a win for everybody that was performing. You know what I mean? And so the reason why I say it's still a good thing to do, and the reason why I'm glad I did it was because it was a challenge that it was something I had to overcome because really behind me not liking competitions was a lot of fear. And rather than sit in that fear, I was like, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to do this and sink or swim. I'm getting on that stage and we'll see what happens. And so I would advise people to at least give it a try, man. At least the worst they can say is no. You might deal with some embarrassment after, but let me tell you something. People are easy to forget stuff. So whatever you think is going to happen, if they hit the buzzer, if they embarrass you, if you wall out, it will be forgotten. I guarantee you another crazy thing will happen and it will be forgotten. So just do the thing that scares you because that's what's going to really propel you to that next level. Even if I had never made it on the show, I would have still been like, you know what? At least I still went and I auditioned. How many people are able to say they were brave enough to even do that? So do it for yourself. If it doesn't work out, great. Your career is not going to end. You're not going to stop doing comedy. You might have to deal with a little bit of an ego bruise or a little bit of embarrassment, but worse than that is the feeling of regret of not having taken a chance on yourself.
So, you've also appeared on Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club in Las Vegas, even on his show. Yearly, he does that Halloween tradition where, you're supposed to lie to your kids and say you ate their Halloween candy. Do you think you would do that to your son?
Absolutely not. I'm not breaking my little man's heart like that. First of all, I know how upset he would get. But he also don't eat regular candy like that. Like, I'm definitely one of those moms that's like, I'm buying the organic, all natural version of any candy because I take his health so seriously. It's not that I'll deny him. Like, if he wants a donut or if he wants to have some Whoppers or some M&Ms, I'll reluctantly, like, I'll give it to him. I'm not going to give it to him all the time and I'm not going to make that a habit. But the whole lying to your kids, I think that's so mean, dog. I can't do that. Like, I can imagine I lie to him and he start crying. I'll feel so damn bad, bro. I can't do that, Joy. I'll pull Jimmy aside and be like, dog, why are you doing that to the kids? Don't do that to the babies. Oh,
Um,
I would cry if someone ate my candy and I'm
and then roast
grown.
them afterwards.
I'd roast them right away.
Okay, so this is where the we come into the therapy section. Behind me, I have like a sign that says "Music heals the soul." How
Oh,
has
yeah.
comedy healed you?
Oh, child. Comedy has been the love of my life since I was 14 years old. Comedy has been the biggest challenge I've ever taken on. Comedy has made me push myself. Comedy has forced me to look at my relationship, not only with myself, but with confidence in general. And if there's one thing I know, it's that I know comedy. Whether somebody else finds me funny or not doesn't even come into play for me because I know in my heart of hearts that I love what I do and that I know how to do my job. And when you love it, it doesn't even feel like a job. I love it so much that I take every lesson. I take, my best friend has something he tells to his kids that I made a little amendment to because he says to his kids, he said, we either win or we learn. There's no losing. And I added one line to it where I say the only L that I take is the lesson. And comedy's taught me more lessons than anything else in life. And I am so grateful and I will forever love it. Even if I stop doing it, I will forever love stand-up comedy.
And do you see that when you're doing comedy coaching?
I do. People are so amazed at how much I love to do the comedy coaching because I love it so much that even helping other comedians and being like, because I'll be watching comics, I'll be in a showroom watching a comic and go, man, I wish I could talk to them about that bit because I know why it didn't work. I can tell you why it didn't work. I can tell you what would make it work, how it could flow better, what you could do. And when I started teaching, being able to do that for other comics is like, it's like when you see two amazing singers singing together, like when Whitney Houston and Brandy were doing Cinderella and they're singing together, and you're like, she must have learned so much from Whitney. And I bet you Whitney learned a thing or two from her. Cause, I learned from my students as well. And I learned from the people that I coach as well. Because I never stop learning, that's what makes a good teacher. That's what makes a good leader. I never stop learning. And with comedy, it's easy to fall back and stop taking in content and stop doing the things and pushing yourself. But the people that love it never stop. I've coached people and they had no money to pay. And I was like, I'll just coach you. It don't matter. You pay me when you got it. Don't worry about it. That's how much I love it.
Yeah, and I know Gabriel Iglesias, he told you to pay it forward when you make it big. Okay, so we have under a minute. What's your walkout music?
My walkout music will probably be something off of Mariah's new album.
Maybe for off her grunge album.
I wish I could get my hands on that grunge album. I would love that. But something off her new album, here for it all.
Okay, we're looking forward to seeing your show at the Punchline next week in San Francisco. Gina, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.